Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Trails of Cold Steel. Mentorship trophy unlocked.
But by then, that memorable evening was approaching its end.
Reen? Elise?
Captain Claire.
Claire?
Good evening, Captain. You must be exhausted.
Oh, well, it's not as though I performed on stage in front of an auditorium full of people or anything. I really enjoyed your concert, by the way. That's the kind of thing that makes me proud to be an alumnus.
Wait, what? You're a student here?
That's right. I was part of the Academy's 216th graduating class. And since you'll be part of its 221st, I suppose that makes me 5 years your senior.
I had no idea. Why didn't you mention it until just now?
Given that we only ever met while you were on your field studies, it didn't seem pertinent. Besides, once people graduate, they tend to leave their ties to their school behind, especially here at Thor's.
Because it's a military academy?
Exactly. Roughly 40% of the graduates here go on to join the military. Not always the same branch or even the same army. About 30% join the Imperial Army, and 10% go to a provincial force. Students who are best friends one day might find themselves enemies the next.
Reen.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to kill your happy mood like this. But I'm sure you're well aware of what may lie ahead. That we're teetering on the brink of an era of upheaval.
I'm aware.
Does this have something to do with the issues in Crossbell I've been hearing about?
Yes, amongst other things. It seems as though everyone on the continent is ready to go to war with everyone else.
Not good.
But that's why it's so important that we're able to stand strong no matter what happens. Though, judging by how well Class 7 has performed on their field studies, I'm sure you'll all be fine in that regard. Here's hoping that I get the chance to help you out again sometime. Even if I'll have to be careful not to draw the ire of that instructor of yours while I'm doing so.
I'm just glad to know that you have her back. Thank you for that.
You're quite well... Please, excuse me a moment. Yes, Revelt speaking. What?
Never good when to hear that.
What's going on?
And you're certain of this? Understood. I'll return at once. Yes, I will escort them back to Valflame Palace myself. I'm afraid I have to excuse myself.
Music turned bad.
I'm really sorry, Elise. My brothers requested that we return to Heimdall right away, but as we're going back by car, I thought I'd offer you a ride home. But...
Elise, I think you should go back with them for now. I'll call you later to make sure you're okay.
Well, all right.
Sorry to drop this on you so quickly, Reen. I'm sure someone from the Academy will fill you in shortly.
Fill me in. On what?
If you'll excuse us.
Don't worry. We'll be sure to get Elise back to the Academy safely.
I think war has just begun. We can never just have a nice, good time, can we?
Does anyone have any idea what's going on?
I'm afraid not. I've never seen Father behave like that before.
My mother's the same way. She got a message of some kind and just changed.
Ditto my father. I think it was someone from Heimdall who got in touch with him.
One thing is certain. Something terrible has happened.
My dad turned pale and was gone before I could ask what happened. It sounded like he received a report from Instructor Neidhart, though.
Hold on. Neidhart's supposed to be... He was at Gorelia Fortress with the 4th Armored Division on some sort of mission, right?
Speaking of which, has anyone seen Toa or Instructor Sarah?
Something terrible has, of course, happened.
Students and visitors, I cannot thank you enough for your attendance today. I hereby proclaim the 127th Thor's Military Academy Festival complete. But I am afraid I must announce this with a heavy heart, as we have just received word from the Imperial government that this evening, Garrelia Fortress, which rests on the eastern border of the Empire, has been destroyed.
The entirety of Garrelia Fortress?
No. Destruction is an inadequate word.
What?
An unknown weapon has erased the fortress in its entirety from existence.
How?
I would ask that all of our guests, from that region or otherwise, please try to remain calm.
Oh, shit. This isn't good. If something completely wiped out Garrelia Fortress, then this is even bigger than we thought. This is worse than war. No, it can still go off in war if an entire fortress has been destroyed. In the days that followed, tension gripped the nation like never before. A photo of the gaping chasm left where Garrelia Fortress once stood made the Imperial Chronicle's front page, and the sign of the aftermath was enough to fill the citizens with a sense of unspeakable dread. Or inescapable dread, you idiot. All the while, unconfirmed reports that several armed divisions had attempted to invade Crossbell had begun to spread. And in every one of these reports, the message was the same. They'd been repelled almost effortlessly. Erebonia was starting to feel the effects of the IBC's asset freeze, too, and things didn't look good for the economy. As things stood, it was only a matter of time before we faced a spike in corporate bankruptcies and record unemployment. Faced with this crisis, the Imperial government and the officials in Heimdall began working to remedy the situation. Rumors were also spreading that Erebonia's longtime enemy, the Cavalry Republic, had thrown its weight behind Crossbell. And with the fortress that once served to safeguard the Empire gone, many speculated that an invasion was only a matter of time. And we sit here in silence. And where's Crow, huh?
I can't take this anymore. Where is she? Homeroom was supposed to start ages ago.
I'm not surprised she's late. The instructors are probably all busy trying to figure out what to do.
That seems more than likely. This morning's meeting has already blown past its normal ending time.
It's still hard for me to believe all of this is really happening. Having been there, the idea that Garrelia Fortress just vanished is difficult to comprehend.
Not all of it, I heard. There are still some parts left and almost untouched. But Instructor Neidhart making it out of there alive was nothing short of a miracle, though.
Those huge railway guns were part of the section that's gone, too.
So it's not that it was destroyed, it's that something made it vanish.
If I hadn't seen the pictures, it'd be kind of hard to believe.
What kind of weapon is even capable of doing something like that? I find myself doubtful that any human could create something so powerful.
We just don't know.
All we do know is that it's impossible to make a weapon that powerful even with today's most advanced orbital technology.
And yet here we are, with just such a weapon in the hands of what's always been seen as a mere vassal state, the Imperial Army has their work cut out for them, I'll say that much.
I'm worried about what's going on in the capital, too. It sounds like there have been even more demonstrations going on there these past few days.
Down with Crossbell, they say. Point our guns towards the east.
Is there even any truth to those rumors that Calvard's planning an invasion?
I'm pretty sure it's all nonsense. But considering how there have been tensions between us and them for years, people are just more inclined to believe it.
Rumors are just that. We need to be careful not to be misled by half-truths and speculation. If possible, we should find out exactly what's happening for ourselves.
Yeah. Over the year, we've seen how things are across the Empire with our own eyes. Now's as good a time as any to put that knowledge to use.
Well said. We've had quite the education in getting to the truth behind all the headlines.
That seems to have been a running theme of most of our field studies.
Still, we seem to be missing 2 of our illustrious members.
Yeah, no Crow, no Millium?
Well, there's nothing strange about Crow's habitual truancy. Or did he already transfer back to his original class?
No. He said he was going to be with us through the end of the month. As for Milliam, though, I'm not sure.
You don't think it's something to do with the intelligence division, do you?
Well, she is an agent of theirs.
It's kind of easy to forget that, given how she usually is.
It does concern me that none of us have seen her.
Sorry to keep you waiting.
What's the scoop, Instructor?
Oh, Instructor.
Are we starting homeroom?
Not today, I'm afraid. All classes have been canceled. You can either stay here in the building and study until school's out, or go back to the dorm.
So wait,
Has something happened?
Not yet, but it will. Chancellor Osborne's going to be addressing the nation from Dreikel's Plaza at noon. It's set to be broadcast across the entire Empire.
A national address?
Sounds pretty serious.
And given the timing,
Indeed, it's not hard to imagine what's on his agenda.
Come on, guys. Straighten up. You're students of Thor's Military Academy, and that makes you all cadets. Whatever careers you choose, military or civilian, you need to know how to act decisively in an emergency. So right now, I don't want you to look away from what's happening in the world. I want you to face it straight.
Will do.
you're right. Now's not the time to lose heart.
As for Osborne's speech, apparently we'll be setting up radios in each classroom so the students can listen to the national address. So if you want to follow along, be sure to be back here by noon.
I suppose I might as well listen to it here then.
Same here. I don't even have a radio.
I do, but for something like this, I'd rather not listen to it alone.
Well then, we can all share in the joy of hearing the melodious voice of our esteemed Chancellor.
Maybe I should haul in some beer and snacks.
That's the only way I'll stay sane through the entire broadcast.
What should we do about Crow and Milliam, though? None of us have seen either of them all day.
Do you know where they are?
Can't say I do. Crow's practically made a career out of playing hooky, but I did see Milliam earlier this morning.
Oh, so she's still on campus?
At least that means she wasn't called away by the intelligence division.
I'd been thinking along those lines, but when I asked her, she just shrugged and said, "No news from the top." I doubt she's wandered off too far.
Yes, but lest you forget, she excels at giving us the runaround.
At least it doesn't sound like she's in trouble. We're probably worried over nothing.
We'll just have to tell them we're meeting here at noon if we run into them before then.
Yeah, we'll
I guess everyone's going to check in with their clubs. Looks like I have some free time. Might as well see if I can track down Crow and Milliam. At least it sounds like Milliam is probably somewhere on campus. Crow, though, he could be anywhere. Probably best to check with Toa and George first. Maybe they know something.
Everything feels so strange now. Where the hell could people be? I mean... I've got the feeling that it just isn't about to end well around here. Hey, Theresa. This probably isn't the best time, but thanks for staying here with me. I'm glad I've got you around. Likewise, besides, I have other reasons to stay behind too. With my family in the Crescent Province, it's likely that I would be evacuated somewhere should war break out. And if that happens, I would never be able to return to Thor's. I would rather make my own decisions than have others do so for me. You know, sometimes it seems like you're even tougher than me. I thought doing some lacrosse practice would help clear my head, but that's not going so well. I'm still so shaken that crossbow's a weapon capable of annihilating Gorali, a fortress like that. This reminds me of something my grandfather told me. Weapons only lead to the creation of more weapons. I take it you're wondering whether all that happened because the Reinford group built those railway guns. I can understand how you feel, but none of this is your fault. You know that, right? I really do, but still. This also made me realize how heavy of a burden Mother's been shouldering on her own all this time. To be honest, I'm a little relieved that the railway guns are gone. Sorry, I probably shouldn't have said that. I wouldn't worry about it. There aren't any easy answers here. All we can do is stick together as a class and see what the future holds. There's a high likelihood that the Chancellor's speech at noon will be exactly what everyone is expecting. I'm rather uncertain how my father will react if reform is going and starting a war. You haven't been instructed to go back home yet, have you? I've received no word from my father, no. That just saves me the trouble of having to decline. But that also means it's highly unlikely I'll be able to get in contact with my brother for some time too. I guess that's not also that surprising. Rufus once told me I should think about my own position as a member of the House of Alborea. Right now I'm considering what I ought to be doing here at the Academy. Well said. I'll see you in the classroom at noon then. We're supposed to be studying until the broadcast starts, but I'm way too worried for that. Are we really gonna go to war? I don't know how Lambert does it. He doesn't seem fazed by any of this. Whitcomb is both my trusty steed and my irreplaceable friend. No matter what may happen, the two of us can overcome it together. Let us keep our heads high, Whitcomb. Nothing shall keep us down. Let's see. I thought I talked for a second. Technically, we're not club members anymore, but it seemed like a good way to keep our minds off everything going on right now. Going for a swim really does help you get your head in the right place. I'm worried about my family for sure, but there's not much I can do. All I can do is make the most of my time here. It seems confusion has spread throughout the Empire after what happened at Goralia Fortress. What do duty and honor demand of us during uncertain times like these? I found myself thinking about that more and more often lately. What's going to happen to us now? Don't be such a warlord, Lind. Everything's going to be just fine. Even if things take a turn for the worse, we can just go back home, right? Yeah, you're right. Huh. Looks like Crossbell's walked down all of its borders. I guess that explains why my brother isn't back yet. Given the political climate, however, it comes as no surprise. In fact, it's had me under the Academy's care for an entire week now. I'm just glad I found someone to fish with. But what's the plan now? You're technically engaged to my brother, right? I suppose I am, though I still find that difficult to believe. I believe I shall return home. I promised Car and I would after all. Or Cargan, whatever. I'm thinking about raising some new flowers. But what kind? They probably bloom around springtime if you start raising them now. Hopefully we'll actually get to see what happened. Uh-huh. Even the flowers seem upset by this turn of events. Perhaps they sense our anxiety. There. You little flowers don't have anything to worry about. Hopefully. This kind of nonsense just never seems to end. You can never catch a break. That's what happens when you get yourself involved with anything military related. You don't get breaks anymore. You get a full-on war. That's what you get to deal with. But something, so that we're saying this is from Crossbell, that something in Crossbell had completely taken out Gralia Fortress. And I can't say, ooh, if I played the Crossbell games we could see, no. Because at this point, both Trails in the Sky games happened and both Crossbell games have happened already. Or maybe one of them was still going on just a bit as this one had began. I don't actually know exactly where they take place during this. I know that both Crossbell games and, you know, the Trails in the Sky games were already, you know, had to be done before this. At least at this point in the story. Anyway. Instructor Nightheart, I wasn't aware that you returned to the Academy. That I have, Swarzer. It's good to see you again. It sounds like Class 7 put on quite the performance. That's very kind of... Wait, weren't you in Gralia Fortress during the attack? Crossbell Mystery Weapon just annihilated it. How are you alive? I was on the training grounds with the rest of the 4th Armored Division at the time. We saw something appear in the sky to the east, and the next moment the fortress was surrounded by a blinding light. I wouldn't believe it if I hadn't seen it myself. I still hardly believe it. I can't bring myself to imagine what would have happened had that light engulfed us. I'm just glad that you weren't hurt. But things may be incredibly busy for the Imperial Army right now. You could say that. Gralia Fortress was our primary stronghold in the east, so losing it has us scrambling. Especially now that Crossbell has proven itself just as much of a threat as Calvert. Which is precisely why I'm resigning from my position as instructor at this academy. Wait, what? It wasn't an easy choice, but it's my duty as a man and as an Erebonian to devote my all to the military in its time of need. Although I do wish I could have been here to see the festival. Instructor Nightheart, I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for us. I'll be praying for your success and your safety. Likewise, I'm sure the future holds challenges that only you and Instructor Valentine can overcome. Know where you stand and what you are capable of, and brace yourself for whatever the future demands of you. Yes, sir. I get that you're worried, but try to stay calm. If you want to take a break from the academy, now would be the time to ask your homeroom teacher. Given the way things are going, you probably get approved, no questions asked. Well, not much we can do right now but wait, till noon for the Chancellor's broadcast. I'd rather not hear his voice spilling out over the airwaves, but this is too important to miss. You really don't like him, do you? He was the one who picked a fight with me, and I'm not going to let him forget it. I've got every intention of returning the favor after what he did to the Bracer Guild in Heimdall. Ugh, just thinking about it makes me want to punch something. Maybe I should have brought a beer to the classroom after all, or maybe a whole keg. Don't look now, but Vice Principal Heinrich has given you the evil eye. I found myself worrying about how the children are taking all of the news of late. Sister, whatever, seems awfully worn out because of it all. At times like these, the very least I can do is make my way along to the church. Hopefully I will at least be able to provide some solace to those who are suffering. It's really scary to think a war might break out. Maybe I should go home to Mom and Dad and Ruhr. But as a super niece, I can't just leave Uncle Makarov here alone to fend for himself. It would seem that we are truly on the verge of war. Why must the world be filled with such tragedy? I joined this academy to spread the joys of love, not prepare my students for the horrors of war. before all this, I was worried about what I was going to do after graduating. Who knows what's going to happen after the Chancellor's speech today? Sorry, we second years are supposed to be the ones supporting you first years at a time like this, not vice versa. I've heard they're gathering on Van Gleer Street in Heimdall for more protests and yeah. My dad's been really busy too, though. That doesn't come as much of a surprise. My dad'll have time to just relax and enjoy good music if war breaks out, will I? Elliot. Sorry, there's not really much point in getting worried right now, huh? Besides, I've got this feeling, you know? Like everything will be okay as long as Class 7 sticks together. Guess the best thing to do right now is to just keep calm. Right. Whatever happens, we'll stick it out together. War? I don't really care. The only thing I care about is dedicating myself completely to my work, body and soul. I'm thinking back to how I felt during our field study in Nord. I really don't want to see a war break out. Not just for Nord's sake, but for Erebonia's too. After all, this country feels like a second home to me now. Not very good vibes around here, I can tell you that much. Reen? Hey, Emma, was expecting to find you here. Oh, you've got Celine there too. Well, she just kind of made her way up here. I was just giving her a little attention while I took a break. You're looking for Crow and Milliam, I take it? Yeah, I have no idea where to even start though. Those two are always up to something. Oh well, I'm sure I'll run into them eventually. Good luck in your search. Hey, Emma, is something bothering you? Well, it's about Crossbell. I'm concerned about any weapon that could annihilate a fortress the size of Goralia, of course. But I'm almost more concerned about the whole sequence of events that led up to that. It almost feels like something's hand is guiding all of this to happen in a very specific way. Don't want to get to you, okay? I think maybe all the novels I've been reading lately have just made me paranoid. Nah, you raise a good point. One worth keeping in mind, I think. Anyway, I'll catch you later. As soon as I find Crow and Milliam, I'll head back to the classroom with them. Alright, I'll be waiting for you. Time to go to the student council building. Let's see what we might have. Nothing different, that's for sure. Except for that. Not much of worth, though.